Good day guys, welcome back to my channel. In our previous class, we talked about Forex trading 101. We discussed about 5 topics in our previous class, and the last topic, which is trading sessions and trading times, I didn't actually talk much about it. So I would like to elaborate on the topic so you won't get confused as we go on with the class. And I didn't break it down because I didn't want the video to be so long, so I had to stop there and do this video to explain it more. So today we are going to talk about trading sessions. We already did that in our previous class, but I will have to touch some parts that I didn't touch during the previous class. I talked about trading time and trading sessions. Normally we use GMT in Forex because that's the generally accepted time zone. So all you have to do is just to check your own time zone and check if you are to add or subtract from this GMT time. So let's continue. So we have 5 major trading sessions in Forex, which include Frankfurt session, London session, New York session, Sydney session, and Tokyo session. So Frankfurt starts by 7 a.m, London 8 a.m, New York 1 p.m, Sydney session 9 p.m, Tokyo session 11 p.m. So that's their opening time. Then each of these sessions lasts for 9 hours. Frankfurt session runs from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. So if you add 9 hours to 7 a.m, it will give you 4 p.m. So each of these sessions stays for 9 hours before they close. So if Frankfurt opens by 7 a.m, then they will close by 4 p.m. London session opens by 8 a.m, then they close 5 p.m. New York session opens 1 p.m. and closes 10 p.m. Sydney session opens 9 p.m. and closes 6 a.m. Tokyo session opens 11 p.m. and closes 8 a.m. So each of these sessions lasts for 9 hours. I will use the chart in the next slide to explain how you can use these sessions to trade. Okay, this is the chart. So I would like to point out some things here. This is the time column. It runs from 1 hour down to 24 hours of the day. So Frankfurt session is represented with red bar. London session is represented with yellow bar. New York session is represented with gray bar. Then Sydney session is represented with green bar. And lastly, Tokyo session is represented with blue bar. So that means that this one here is Frankfurt session. This red bar here is Frankfurt session. Then this is London session, the yellow bar. Then New York session, which is the gray bar, and the Sydney session. Then lastly, Tokyo session, which is the blue bar. So like I said already, Frankfurt session opens by 7 a.m. and closes by 4 p.m. while London session opens by 8 a.m. and closes by 5 p.m. New York session opens by 1 p.m. and closes by 10 p.m. Then Sydney session, as you can see, Sydney session starts by 9 p.m. That's here. The black arrow points the starting time or the opening time, while the white arrows point the closing time. So Sydney session starts by 9 p.m, which is this black arrow. If you check, you see that it is under this 9 o'clock column. Remember, my time format is in 24 hours, not in 12 hours. If you should convert it to 12 hours, that means we are going to have another one here. We'll start with 1 from here, from this 13. 13 is 1. I'm using 24 hours here, not 12 hours format. Mind you, from here is 1. So 13 is 1, 14 is 2, 15 is 3, 16 is 4, 17 is 5, 18 is 6, 19 is 7, 20 is 8, 21 is 9, 22 is 10, 23 is 11, and lastly 24 is 12 a.m. Coming down to Sydney session, you see that it started from 9 p.m. and then it has to enter the next day. So I told you that each of the session lasts for 9 hours. So for the fact that Sydney session started from 9 p.m, it has only 3 hours to run for the day. That's if it opens by 9, by 10 it will be 1 hour, by 11 it will be 2 hours, then by 12 is 3 hours. So it has to enter the next day. for you to complete, which is what we have here. So this is the continuation of Sydney session. It has to run from 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., then 6 a.m. So it runs from 9 p.m. to 6 p.m. So that is it for Sydney session. And the last one, which is Tokyo session, starts from 11 p.m. and ends by 8 a.m. If you are observant enough, you see that some of this time meets each other. Like what we have here, Frankfurt session starts by 7. So as it's starting by 7, London will join them in the next 1 hour, which is 8 a.m. Frankfurt starts by 7 and London starts by 8. So you see that by 8 a.m. every morning, that 2 sessions are already in the market. So this will make the market more volatile. If you don't know what volatility means, check the link below and watch the video. I explained volatility there. So for the fact that these 2 sessions are currently trading, it will make the market more volatile. As London session is coming into the market, Tokyo are already closing. So while London is coming to the market, Tokyo session is already closing, and that's how the market continues for the day. Then New York session starts by 1 p.m. So New York starting by 1 p.m. Frankfurt and London session are still in the market as New York joins them. So you notice that in this square here, you see that 3 sessions are currently trading at this time. So Frankfurt session, London session, and New York session are currently trading at this time. So the volatility of the market will be as high as, and within this period is when the indices market opens. That's the Nasdaq, US 30, and the rest of them. They trade under the US session, or the New York session rather. So that is it. So market volatility is very, very, very high during this period. So let's continue. Here, Sydney session is coming in while New York session is 2 hours away from their closing time. So the market continues moving this way on daily basis. So let's see the next slide and see what we have. During Frankfurt session, Euro and Swiss francs is being traded at this time. This is one of the pairs that this session normally trades, and Europe and France are the top traders of this session. Then during London session, GBP and Euro is traded during this session. GBP means Great Britain pounds. Then Germany and United Kingdom are actively trading during this period. Then New York session, USD and CAD, which is the United States dollar and the Canadian dollar, are the pairs that are traded during this period. Then United States and Canada trades during this session. Then Sydney session, AUD and NZD, which is the Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar, are traded during this session. Then Australia and New Zealand also participate during this session. Then lastly, Tokyo session, Japanese yen and the Chinese yuan is traded during this session, and Japan and China participate in this session. So these are the things I wanted to point out for you guys before we complete our class. So after this video, I'll drop the next video of the remaining 2 topics we didn't touch during our previous class. So make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll be notified when the video is available. So thank you. This is the end of the class. See you in our next class.